Welcome to the Grow Your Practice podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Chad Madden, owner of Madden Physical Therapy and Breakthrough. Join me each week as we dive into the best practices, systems, principles, tips, and tricks to help you grow your private practice. Hey everybody, Chad Madden here with the Grow Your Practice podcast. And today we have two very special guests, private practice owner Stacy Hicks and with Carlisle Place in New Hampshire, right? Lancaster, New Hampshire. Is it Lancaster or Lancaster?
It's Lancaster.
Okay, great. So, because we have a Lancaster here and it's slightly different pronunciation. And also Erin Langmaid, did I pronounce that correctly? Head of marketing with Carlisle Place. So welcome here to the podcast. Thank you both for doing this. Stacy, I'll start with you. How did you decide to become a physical therapist, and we'll work our way up to becoming a private practice owner as well? So how'd you get started in PT?
So I wish I had an amazing story, but I was just a nerd and I loved science. And so ultimately, when I was thinking about choosing a career, I knew that it would be in the medical field. And so I ended up kind of backtracking and looking through all the careers that I could potentially do. And as you know, when I went to school, the path to become a PT was a little shorter than it is now. It looked very enticing to me.
Did you grow up in New Hampshire?
I did.
Okay. And then where did you go to school?
I went to school in North Stratford at a very small K-12 school. I went to college at the University of New England in Biddeford, Maine.
Awesome. Cool. So you graduate from Maine a couple of years ago, and then did you move back to New Hampshire?
I did.
Okay. And then did you go right into private practice, or did you work for somebody else for a while?
I did not. I worked in a hospital probably 30 minutes from my house for a few years. And then I went to work for a surgeon for 8 years after that.
Okay. And then when did you open Carlisle Place?
I opened Carlisle Place in 2007. And that was a result of the surgeon that I was working for was going to retire. And I was not looking to go back into the hospital setting. So I just decided that I would work in my own community.
That's great. And so for most of us, we have a jaded experience working for somebody else, and then we're going to do things our own way when we open up private practice, and then we open up our doors and very quickly discover that there's a lot more to owning a private practice than, just a 40-hour work week. So
oh yeah, I went from working part-time per diem to working a lot and very late.
So what was like what does a lot mean for you? Is that like a 60-hour work week or more?
Yes. And I had 2 small children at the time.
Okay. Brutal. Love it. We've all been there. Great. And then what is the latest that you remember staying up and working till?
It wasn't necessarily that much of a night owl. I mean, there were times that it was, 10 and 11, but I certainly did not pull all-nighters. I'm not a night owl.
Okay. Yeah. I can remember hitting midnight. Yeah. Very fair. So you opened Carlisle Place in 2007. And then Erin, when did you come into marketing, your marketing role?
I have a 8.5-year-old. So I started probably when she was 6. So
2018, 2017, 2018?
Yeah, right around there.
And wait, you started when your daughter was 6?
I have 2 kids that are 13 months apart. So Ian was like probably 2 and he's 7. So 5 years ago, I would say 5 to 6 years ago, I started doing the marketing.
Okay. Did you previously have a marketing role?
Not here. I actually went to college for marketing and corporate communications. And then I went into human resources and did that kind of stuff. And then when I had kids, I stayed home, and then Stacy approached me and said, hey, you can do it from home and on your own schedule. So if you'd like to start doing some marketing for me, you can do that.
What have you learned about marketing a private practice?
It's like a niche market almost, it's a really hard market to get into. There's not a lot of people to look at to like kind of judge from and how to do it. When I started, we did a lot of newspaper advertising because we were looking for some of the older crowd people. And now we do more, social media type marketing to get different groups of people because the older people didn't respond to newspaper either.
We've done it all. We've done radio ads. We've done it all.
And then give us an idea of what the area is like, because I think it's pretty rural, right, where you're at.
Yes.
Like, what does that look like? 10-mile radius, how many people?
When we were here in Jefferson, which is 10 miles from Lancaster, because that's a new move for us a year ago. How many people live in Jefferson? 1,200 people?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Small.
Yes.
Yeah, very small town.
I think Lancaster's 12,000 people.
Yeah.
Very small. Okay. So how many locations do you have today?
One.
Okay, one location. So you moved a location.
We did.
Got it. And you moved to the more populated area.
Correct.
Okay, great. And just as an idea for our listeners, how many square feet are you in today?
Our practice is like 3,000 square feet.
Awesome. And so 3,000 square feet in a town of 12,000 people. And then how many clinicians do you have?
5.
And that's awesome. So you're pretty much full. The space is full.
Yes. But 2. So I'm in the clinic 3 days a week now, sometimes 4. And because I'm doing other things. And then I have an OT that also is not full time. She works 3 days a week.
Okay. So okay, you have part-time equivalents in there. Got it. And at Carlisle Place, what are you most proud of so far as an owner, Stacy?
To be honest with you, I'm proud of our staff and our therapists. I think that we have great therapists who really care. They do a great job with patients. They go the extra mile. I mean, I feel like sometimes they tell me it's really hard working here. We actually have to make patients better.
Perfect.
I said, yeah, we do. I feel like we have an expectation, and they really take it very seriously, and they do a good job.
And it comes through in the marketing, because when you ask people, we have people then can fill things out, or you hear word of mouth. People always say, I chose to come here because of their reputation, because they care about the people. They actually, you make relationships with your therapist, because when you run into Stacy at the grocery store in 6 months, she'll say, hey, Chad, how's your elbow doing? It's been, a while. They remember who people are. It's not just like a number after a number coming through in a train. They'd make relationships and form bonds with each patient.
But we do that to a fault, though.
Yes.
And I'm sure you get what I mean. Like sometimes, they spend too much time, and then they're like, oh my God, I'm so behind on my documentation. And I'm like, well, you can't, sometimes you have to know when to say when.
I mean, the analogy that I've heard a lot of people say here is like the, duck underneath the water, legs going a mile a minute, but on the surface, you barely see any movement at all. That's basically what we have to do. I know I even got caught out here on the way in. I had a meeting to get to this morning, coming in from the parking lot, started talking with somebody, and just wanted to hear everything that he had to say, but got to a point where I'm like, hey, I have to be on a meeting in 3 minutes. And it was great talking with you, great catching up. And then I had to move on and go about my business. But yeah, I very much understand that. Easy to get lost, but very important to create those relationships. That's awesome. So, and then that is what you were most proud of. What are some of your biggest challenges that you have at Carlisle Place within the last few years? Let's say since 2020.
Since 2020, cancellations is big. We're trying to wrap our heads around that. It made a lot of sense, obviously, after COVID. Everyone was like canceling at a sniffle, and how do you plan for that? How do you keep your schedule full when that stuff happens last minute? And the other big thing was figuring out how to get to patients, how to make patients understand that we are very much a first line of defense for their problem. And, I look on Facebook all the time and I see people, oh, I hurt my back today. What should I do? And everyone's like, go to the chiropractor, get a massage. They go down the list. I'm like, I don't get it. They just don't get it.
Yeah, that's I've always perceived that's a little bit of our responsibility, right, as clinicians to educate. And so you're doing that now. So you had mentioned you did a lot with legacy media, whether it's print, radio, TV, billboards, school programs, all that fun stuff. Now you're doing stuff on social. You wanted to do like direct to consumer and education. So can you talk a little bit about? I think you started with Breakthrough about 6 months ago. So what are you doing? What are you doing there? Can you share that? And then we can talk through challenges and everything else that you've had.
So I think we had our first workshop in March. We had a huge turnout, which was amazing.
We had 32 signed up, I think, and 35 came or something like that. Because
Yeah.
people brought their spouses with them. And we have a picture of Stacy. She's like, we sent it to your done. We're like, yeah, look at us. We're cool. And then we're like, wow, there's a lot of people. How are we going to get all these people in?
Right.
Like in a timely fashion.
And then we were kind of like, oh, well, oh my God, what do we do? So we figured it out. We rebounded. We rebounded well. We started out offering screen and then quickly turned that around because we were just doing a ton of screens. And yes, we were converting some people, but then we were seeing the people who just wanted free information. And I figured, you know what, we need to figure out how to get the people that are very serious about coming in
Or they're
on the
canceling last
schedule.
minute
Right.
screen.
So now you go straight to an eval. That's great. We do the same with the 90% plus of attendees. That's great. So you're going straight to the eval. What? That's funny about the 35 people showing up. I'm very jealous of that.
I was like bringing up, she's like, we need more cheers. We need more cheers. I'm like, hey, hold on. We need to give, because we didn't set up for that many people. We thought, we'll just bring a few and more if we need them. But then people kept walking in and we were like, oh no.
Before we continue with this episode, here's a word about our course, Profitability Under Pressure.
What are the 4 ways practice owners are increasing their revenue per visit in today's market? Chad Madden here, introducing you to the Profitability Under Pressure program. This is a 90-day masterclass designed to help you build a financial system in your private practice to improve your revenue per visit and your bottom line profit margin. Many practice owners like you are facing declining reimbursements and increasing operational expenses. It's more expensive to provide care. This makes it harder to maintain the financial health of the practice. The Profitability Under Pressure program compiles the processes working for practice owners today into one system to help you increase profit margins, regain your time, and help more people in your community. With our program, you'll learn how to conduct a profit leak audit, how to create a plan for profit, and how to use the 4 profit levers to increase your revenue. Plus, you'll enjoy a complimentary 90-day trial of our patient demand software and access to our exclusive Insider Circle community. Don't just take my word for it. Hear from practice owners like Lance Gross, who added $1.1 million to his bottom line, and Peg Gray, who got her finances under control after 4 decades in practice, or Jeff Gersh, who saved time by getting the cheat sheet to increase profitability. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Apply today for the Profitability Under Pressure program and start increasing your profits by $10,000 or more in just 90 days. Click the link below to join the waitlist now. Secure a more stable financial future for your practice. Apply now and join the ranks of successful PT practice owners who have transformed their businesses with our program.
Thank you for listening this far. Now back to the episode.
We overthought it as well. We did like handouts and the whole 9 yards. And then we went to Harrisburg and they're like, no, don't do that. I'm like, okay, perfect.
Yeah, Stacy's first back one, she got a projector. She's like, why should I have a projector? And then her last one, she's like, it's even better without the projector. We just got it for no reason. We're not going to use it.
No, I'm never using
Simpler's
that.
better. And we don't do the handouts anymore. People can listen and come back if they need to.
I want them to forget so they'll come back.
Oh, there you go. Great. So you've had a lot of learning there. You talked about using a projector. So did you do 1 or 2 with the overhead?
No, only 1.
And then you went to, what do you use now? A whiteboard?
So I use visuals. I don't have the whiteboard. I have like the skeleton. I have some other like visuals that I use and hand around to show people. They pass it around, like a picture of the spinal nerves when we're talking about that and how that, movement impacts those nerves and blah, blah, blah. And so I do that kind of thing because it makes them interact with each other as well because they're handing this paper, side to side and then talking about it. So I try to be more engaging with people rather than just talking. And I felt like when I had the projector, it's kind of like you're giving a speech and I don't like that.
Perfect. Love it. I like your little nuance there with not doing the worksheet as well. I've never tried that. I've always used the worksheet, but now I want to try that. Cool. So you're doing that. What, other than the conversions over to the evaluations that you're getting, have you noticed anything else with your practice? Is there, what's your team alignment look like when you go out and you're at, I think you said Target or, whatever other stores are in your area. If you're out, on the town and you run into other people, like, are you more recognizable now? What are the other benefits of doing the workshop and really the online advertising with that?
Well, I think an example of that would be, we had a lady that came in for the back pain workshop. Stacy treated her. I had a woman walking off the street and said, "You have another back pain coming up. My friend said this is the best thing ever." And so she signed up for it. And a week before the workshop, she'd already had a referral and she'd come in for an initial evaluation. And she's got a plan of care. So the word of mouth is really big around here. You know, people have said, "Oh, I went to the workshop. This was really good. This was really good. I've learned a lot." And I think the people that are taking the time to come to the workshop, you know they need help, but when they come and they hear them talk about it and they're like, "Oh," and there's other people relating to them in the same boat,
Right.
then they're like, "Okay, I probably should do something."
Love it. Cool. So you're getting a bit of a branding effect from advertising for the workshops as well. You're advertising on Meta, Facebook, Instagram. Are you advertising anywhere else?
No, we're doing the one through you guys that run on the platforms, but we've created events on our social media pages, and I do random posts every now and then, like upcoming back pain workshop, scan this QR code to get registered. We have it on our website as well.
That's great. Awesome. Well, yeah, appreciate what you're doing there. Very good. What were you going to say, Stacy?
We also ordered the card so that we can do little handwritten letters.
Oh, nice. The green ink letters. Yeah.
We made two. We made one thinking of you for our patients, and we made one that says thank you to send to the doctors that are doing the referral. And we made the rack cards, because I stole your rack card out of your office in Harrisburg, and we did it with our own flair on it. And so now we have social media and
we
we
should
have
have
reviews
one.
on them. I sent it to your Jordana. I'll send it on to you too.
Awesome. When you're saying rack card, I thought you meant the exercise card. What do you mean rack card?
No, you have on the front desk, it's like,
Scan the QR code.
Scan the QR for our Google reviews. And when you flip it over, they can scan for your social media. So we redid it and made it our own, because it works for you.
Yeah. Reviews. I mean, you're in a small town. People talk, right? Very highly social. I love small towns for that reason. I mean, we have a couple practices that are locations that are in smaller areas, and yeah, everybody knows word spreads fast. And if you can tap into a media there that nobody else is using, more power to you. And you're doing great things. So yeah, really appreciate you sharing there. I have one more question for you both, an answer from both. What's the most influential book you've ever read, personal or professional? Didn't mean to stump you.
That's it. You stumped me.
You
Yeah.
did stump me.
I'm trying to think. I read mostly just for fun. I like mystery
I
books.
don't read for
I like
fun.
historical.
I
I like historical mystery books.
I read Sterling's book when I got back.
Stacy ordered every single book that you mentioned
Got 'em
in
all.
Harrisburg, just so you know. You were home less than a week, and she's like, "I've ordered them all, and I'm going to be reading every single book that was recommended."
That's the kind
Because
of
that's
boring
what she
things
likes
I
to read
do.
at night.
Oh, wow. Perfect. That's part of our blessing and a curse of being a nerd, Stacy, right? That's lots of reading. Yeah. Yeah. Either of you have a single book in terms of the most influential?
I think the most influential one I gave away and I let someone read.
And you didn't get it back.
I did not. I can't remember the name of it. It was about being on top and being the lone person, and one of the key things that I took away from it, and this is going to sound terrible, is that the people that got you where you are will likely not be with you in the end. And it was about entitlement and feeling like as you succeed, they all feel like they're basically your partner now. And that actually happened to me with my office manager.
Is it what got you here won't get you there?
I don't think that was the name of it. I had it on my desk forever, and it was about managing people.
Okay. All right. I'll look for it. Anything from you, Erin? Lord of the Rings, or what were you talking about?
I like I said, historical mystery books. Charles Finch talks about the wars, and Bess Crawford books. She's a nurse in the World War I, and you follow her through, so you learn a lot of historical stuff that probably wouldn't have been fun for me in high school or growing up, but to read it in a mystery format, it's fun and educational at the same time.
Fair enough. Okay. And then so right now, one more question. When's your next workshop?
Thursday night.
Thursday. So what funnels are you running right now? What diagnoses are you advertising for?
Yeah, it's rotator
and back pain.
Yeah, and back pain will be in September.
Okay. And so you're doing rotator cuff and back pain. Awesome. Well, thank you both for doing this. Appreciate everything you're doing for private practice in Lancaster, New Hampshire.
Lancaster,
sorry. Thanks.
What are the 4 ways practice owners are increasing their revenue per visit in today's market? Chad Madden here, introducing you to the Profitability Under Pressure program. This is a 90-day masterclass designed to help you build a financial system in your private practice to improve your revenue per visit and your bottom line profit margin. Many practice owners like you are facing declining reimbursements and increasing operational expenses. It's more expensive to provide care. This makes it harder to maintain the financial health of the practice. The Profitability Under Pressure program compiles the processes working for practice owners today into one system to help you increase profit margins, regain your time, and help more people in your community. With our program, you'll learn how to conduct a profit leak audit, how to create a plan for profit, and how to use the 4 profit levers to increase your revenue. Plus, you'll enjoy a complimentary 90-day trial of our patient demand software and access to our exclusive Insider Circle community. Don't just take my word for it. Hear from practice owners like Lance Gross, who added $1.1 million to his bottom line, and Peg Gray, who got her finances under control after 4 decades in practice, or Jeff Gersh, who saved time by getting the cheat sheet to increase profitability. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Apply today for the Profitability Under Pressure program and start increasing your profits by $10,000 or more in just 90 days. Click the link below to join the waitlist now. Secure a more stable financial future for your practice. Apply now and join the ranks of successful PT practice owners who have transformed their businesses with our program. Make sure you apply before the General Admission Scholarship deadline on August 31st. Apply today.